Hello there and welcome to LearnBytes, the show that delivers bite-sized pieces of wisdom so you can learn how to increase your efficiency and productivity, embrace your natural creativity and lead with impact. I'm Samantha Garrett from Using Technology Better, and joining me today is Matthew Gordon. And Matt is the Managing Director at Solution One and Edunet. And he's actually here in person with me. Hello.
Hi, Sam. Great to be here in the flesh.
In the flesh.
No less.
I know. I'm so excited. And you have the honor of being the very first in the flesh person on the show. So.
Hey, look, I'm impressed.
Thank you. Now, so today, Matt is going to talk about efficiency and productivity. But before we jump into all that kind of formal stuff, Matt, do you want to share a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you're passionate about?
Yeah. Look, as I mentioned, I'm the Managing Director at Solution One and Edunet. We're focused very heavily in the education sector, particularly around technology and the use of technology in the classroom. We're more your physical provider of boxes, and then Sam comes in and helps people actually achieve those outcomes. My passion's definitely education, looking towards the next generation and how we can improve the use of technology in the classroom. And on a side note, I'm a very avid scuba diver. Love being underwater.
Lucky we live down here by the water then, hey?
No doubt about that.
Yeah. Alrighty, so now Matt, as I've kind of pre-warned you, the show is kind of short and sharp and bites of learning. So we have 8 questions in 4 minutes. Are you up for the challenge?
Let's give it a go.
Awesome. So I'm going to pop the timer on. Just one moment, audience, while I push go. Let's do this. First mobile phone and current phone.
First mobile phone, NEC analog phone. Showing my age, antenna retracted and extended about this far. Didn't have it too long, upgraded to a Nokia as soon as they basically stole the market. Currently using a Motorola Android.
Oh, awesome. What does working efficiently and productively mean to you, Matt?
Efficiently, if I split it, is systems, processes, frameworks. I'm an application developer by trade and really enjoy implementing systems to help people work more efficiently. Productively is more the old school stuff, lists, assigning priorities, working, setting time frames, and just your general approach to tasks.
Oh, I love that split. I think we might come back to that. Matt, when and where do you work best?
Yeah, aeroplane, believe it or not. I have a really multi-threaded role. I'm at the beck and call of quite a few staff at work, and I can assign my priorities, work to a list, and sometimes have 8, 9, 10 hours of uninterrupted work time. It's just seems to work for me. I know it's crazy and certainly haven't had that opportunity in the last 12 to 14 months. But that's manifested itself into a very quiet home office, let me assure you.
I was going to wonder how you'd made that switch.
It's been tricky.
All right. Favorite app for helping improve your efficiency or productivity?
Look, I'm going to go with Outlook, my calendar in particular, tasks, follow-up items. I live and die by my calendar, and making sure that key people have access to it as well has been a real lifesaver for me.
Biggest efficiency or productivity challenge, Matt?
Not throwing staff at problems, I think.
Interesting.
I always approach a problem by trying to work out if we can solve it via innovation of system, innovation of framework or approach. Just throwing headcount or staff, headcount's a bit impersonal, isn't it? Throwing staff at the actual problem sometimes can really balloon or manifest it in a different direction. So we'll always approach it from a task or system-based direction to begin with, and then see if we need to actually assign staff to it.
Interesting. What's the number one thing that you've done then to actually increase your efficiency or productivity?
Early to bed, early to rise.
Short and sharp, I like it.
Yeah.
Book, podcast, or video you'd recommend to others?
Currently reading Close Calls, book of a series of diving incidents, to be honest. Non-fatal diving incidents, people that have lived to tell the tale. I really enjoy looking at the root cause, the problem, unpacking how it was able to manifest itself into a very close call, and then looking at the innovation around how it's not going to occur again and what they're doing to make sure that it's not going to be an issue that manifests itself underwater again.
Fascinating would be a better way to say that. Awesome. So, very last question. Oh, not sure how many seconds because the screen went black, but that's okay. If you could save 1 hour a day and spend that doing something you love, what would you do?
I wrote 3 things down on my list: fishing, diving, but realistically settled on picking up the kids from school. Reason I like that the most is that's when they're the most talkative about their day. I can ask them till they're blue in the face at the dinner table what they did that day, and all you'll get is not much. But when you pick them up from school, they want to tell you everything they've been through, and that's something I enjoy doing.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I would say you beat the clock, but the screen went black. So we're just going to assume you did. I'm like, done. This is my show. I can say congratulations, Matt. You're in under 4 minutes.
Hey, thanks.
Awesome. Love it. So a couple of things I want to pick up on. I really love you're the first guest that's made that split between the efficiency and the productivity side, which is really, really fascinating. So I was noticed it when you were talking around efficiency, it was more around that big kind of picture stuff, particularly was it in regards more to the company, whereas the productivity, oh, look, there's the timer.
Everyone's a winner.
We are. Or was the productivity more of a personal thing for you?
Yeah, productivity was more personal. My approach, how am I being productive? How am I maintaining that efficiency at a personal level?
Yeah.
But then efficiency was more bigger picture stuff. Are we all working together? Are we working on the right tasks? Are we able to save steps in a process by implementing a system?
Yeah.
Again, systems design and analysis is my background. So, saving people's minutes, hours or days through the implementation of custom built, platforms is sort of key.
And I love that because I think that's really reflecting your view as the managing director. It's more to you than just personal productivity and efficiency. Like it is this bigger picture, which I thought was really cool when you were saying around like not just throwing resources or headcount. Should we use that word?
Yeah, it's an ugly word, headcount, isn't it?
But I take your point. Did you want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Look, other than just not instantly assigning staff to solve problems and looking at it from a top down, how can we actually implement something new to solve it? Or perhaps I need to get my staff to actually solve the issue or hire additional staff to solve the issue. We just don't want to automatically go assign people to problems. I think there's and it's usually a collaborative approach there to look at the process, look at the system, unpack it and then repack it a little differently.
And is that something you tend to do yourself, or is that something you tend to delegate? I know that's probably a very general question, but I'm curious about it.
No, that's the part of the job that I enjoy the most. So I will absolutely ingrain myself in a particular process or a new framework to work out how we can most efficiently implement it in the business.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. I've actually really appreciated having your perspective on that, more of that company level. We haven't had that on the show before, so that's been
awesome.
Really, really
my
valuable.
Absolute pleasure.
Wonderful. All right. Well, I think we can wrap up. We've kept this nice and short and sharp, which is awesome.
We're calling it a wrap.
But before we do, actually, where can people find you and Edunet, Solution One?
We're based out of Mornington, down here in the Mornington Peninsula, not too far from the studio we sit in at the moment. We do a lot of our work in Victoria and South Australia. You would certainly find us on Google and we'd be more than happy to strike up a conversation with you.
Cool. And I can link to that all in the notes as well. I'm linked to you maybe on LinkedIn. So
more than happy
sounds
to.
Good.
Great.
Awesome. All right, everyone. Well, that's it for the show today. I really hope that you enjoyed that little chat with Matt and it gave you some ideas, perhaps some more big picture thinking, which I think is always really valuable. So a couple of things before we go. So if you've not already followed the show, if you're listening to the podcast version, be sure to do that so you're notified about all the latest episodes. Or of course, if you're watching us on YouTube for the full impact, then you can subscribe to the Using Technology Better YouTube channel. And last but not least is the fortnightly newsletter, which you do hear me talking about. So if you've not signed up to that and you want more tips on efficiency, productivity and organization, link for that is below. So thank you so much for watching. That's it for today, but I'll see you again soon for another bite-sized piece of the learning adventure that is life. See you then.